Hi you guys, I decided to make another video about this because the first video I made was like 50 minutes, so I was like, maybe I should make another one. So this is going to be a video of tips on how to survive Disney during New Year's. It's pretty crazy, it's pretty hectic, so here are some tips to help make your trip a little bit easier. Don't expect short lines. The lines will be very long. Um, when I went, I think the shortest line was maybe an hour. So don't expect to be standing in line for half an hour. Expect to be standing in line for 60 minutes to 2 hours. Lines do move faster if you're a single rider. Don't be afraid to cut people in line because they actually won't stop you. And I recommend getting fast passes. The way the fast passes work, you can only choose 3 rides a day, and the most popular rides when I went were Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So if those are must on your list, I recommend you get fast passes for those. And if you're there for more than one day, you can fast pass anything else. For the time to get there, you should get there early and leave late. You do have the luxury, if you're a guest, to leave midday. I did read on a lot of blogs that you couldn't leave midday because the park will hit capacity. And pay attention to when the park hits capacity, because if you want to get back in and the park has hit capacity, unfortunately, if you're a guest, you cannot. But over the course of the day, if you're staying on a Disney resort site or Disney site, you can get back into the park. The guests are priority. Actually, what they do is they make sure that people who aren't guests will not be getting in. So only guests can get in after a certain point. So don't be afraid to leave midday. I do recommend that you get there early though. I got there at about 8 and the park was already crowded. So if you're gonna leave around like 3:30 and come back for like, I'm gonna say 5, then that's probably fine. Okay. Transportation was definitely difficult. If you're staying on a Disney resort, they provide transportation for you. Buses or boats, depending on what one you stay at. I stayed at the Wilderness Lodge, so they had a boat. The boat was better than the buses. Buses do take a little while, and there's no schedule for either of these things. So it's kind of like a hit and miss situation. You either get there on time and you get on the bus and there's a million people on the bus, or you get there and the bus is just leaving and you have to wait 15 minutes. It does take a while to get to the park if you're using a bus. It took me at least 45 to 30 minutes each time, and for a boat, the boat takes about 10 to 20 minutes, including the wait. So that's not bad. The boat's not bad, and the boat will take you right to the gate. Monorails are only at limited hotels, and if you're taking a monorail from Epcot to Magic Kingdom, they do make you stop and either get on another monorail or you get on a ferry. I took the ferry. If you're going on the ferry, make sure when you get on to walk down to the very end of the ferry, because the ferry will open on the other side and you can get out faster that way. Yeah. If you're going to stay at the park all day, and for New Year's night, I recommend that you stay near Main Street. I got held up in a ride line, so I didn't get to Main Street as early as I wanted to. I recommend you get to Main Street and stay on Main Street by like 6. I know that sounds insanely early, but I didn't get to Main Street till 6:30. And it was already crowded, and they start directing people, and what they do is they close off the castle so you can't walk through the castle or around the castle, and they close off the bridges, so you have to go through Tomorrowland and out the back of Tomorrowland, which takes you to the entrance. Try to get there before they close Cinderella's castle. They close Cinderella's castle pretty early, but not the edging around Cinderella's castle, so try to get there when the edging is still open. if that makes any sense. And try to get us, if you want to get to the top of the castle and they have directed you all the way to the back, there are stores on either side of Main Street. Take the one on the left side, it will take you straight up to basically where the Walt Disney statue is. And what I did is they will try to direct you to Frontierland, and just find the best spot that you can find and stay there and don't move. Make sure you're behind rope or tape or they will move you. Another thing is that it is really crowded, so you do have to deal with big crowds. And I know it sounds like a long time for a wait if you get there at 6 or 5:30, but at 7 they have a parade, and at 7:30 they do fireworks till 8. And then they did a dance party in front of Cinderella's castle from 9 to midnight actually. So it's not as bad as you think. It would be recommended if you go with a friend. I was there on my own, but I still had a really fun time. Make sure you bring something warm. It did get colder at night, and I was wearing shorts and a tank top and a sweatshirt, and I still was cold, so maybe wear longer pants or change midday. Also, charge your phone midday. There are little charging stations in the back of Space Mountain. Go in the gift shop to the side, and there's a whole wall with a strip of charging stations. So that was a really nice secluded place where you can go, where you don't have to worry about people bothering you, and you can just charge your phone. Regarding food, you should eat early at your hotel, or just slip in a little snack in your bag and hope they don't notice. Buy a water bottle when you're in there and keep refilling that water bottle throughout the day. And if you're trying to eat at a restaurant, make reservations like a week or so ahead of time, and make them earlier so you can get to Main Street. Also, if you're going to eat anywhere and you don't have reservations, like to a cafe midday, they are crowded and it does take a really long time. So note that, because we did have to wait a really long time for food at some points. If you want to leave the park midday and you have a group, try to leave one person in the park. I was the one person who stayed in the park the whole time. My group didn't end up coming back, but have a person stay in the park because it's more easier for you to get back in. If you just tell the person, oh, my daughter or my friend is in the park, then they might be more likely to say, oh, okay, go in. Or tell them you have dinner reservations. And especially if you're a guest, they should be able to let you back in. Don't expect to meet face characters while you're there. I don't know how it works because I haven't been in a really long time, but when I went this trip, meeting a face character was you had to wait in a line, and the lines were really long. Some of them were up to 2 hours. So don't expect just to meet a face character as they walk down the street. So unless you're really dedicated to that character, then you shouldn't try to meet one. And that's really it. I hope I didn't leave anything out. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments below. So I'm just trying to clear things up because I read on a lot of websites that you couldn't get back into the park and you can't leave midday and you have to get there early. I do recommend getting in there early, but if you're a park guest, you can leave the park and you can get back in, but I recommend getting back in before 5:30. And also, I'm speaking from a single person. I was a single person most of my trip, so if you have kids or if you're not staying on site, this probably isn't for you. I also cut some of the lines, so if you're a single person, you get the liberty, and it's nice. So that's really it, and I hope this is helpful and you enjoy it. Okay.